Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com, and we're here today with lesson number 16 in our incredible new tutorial series where you're learning how to do 3D models, 3D graphics, 3D animations using Vpython. What I'm going to need you to do is pour yourself a nice strong cup of black coffee. That is straight up black coffee, no sugar, no sweeteners, none needed. That's your go juice. You need to go get you some. What I'm also going to need you to do is fire up your most excellent Visual Studio Code. And as you're doing that, as always, I want to give a shout out to you guys who are helping me out over at Patreon. It is your support and your encouragement that keeps this great content coming. You guys that are not helping out yet, look down in the description below. There is a link over to my Patreon account. Think about hopping on over there and hooking a brother up. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's jump in and talk about what we are going to learn today. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you my solution to the homework assignment I gave you last week, which was to create a clock animation, to take the clock animation we had earlier that had the minute hand and the hour hand and add a second hand to it and calibrate it where it's roughly keeping correct time. Okay, so that when the second hand goes around, it goes around in within a second or two of a minute. Okay, and then the minute hand is coordinated with the second hand and the hour hand is coordinated. The hour hand is coordinated with the minute hand, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm not posting code online because I'm not here to teach you how to copy and paste. I'm here to teach you how to code. So if you're just jumping in this lesson, you better skedaddle back to about lesson 14, and then you can follow along with me, in developing this code. But no, I'm not going to post it because too much copying and pasting going on out there and not enough sitting down and really coding. All right. So what do we want to do? We want to add a second hand. So if you look at this here, I have all my parameters for the minute hand, and I better get out of your way or you're going to get real mad at me. People say I have a gargantuan noggin, and my noggin is in front of my coding, and I really try not to do that. But you can see I have, these are my parameters for the minute hand. These are my parameters for the hour hand. Well, I need to set up a second hand. So I'm going to take these, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to paste them, and I'm starting with second. So this will be second hand, and then I will snag that. And then I will say, okay, we have a second hand. And we have a second hand. All right, now if we think about these, we better think about the links. And I think I'm going to make that second hand a little bit longer. I'm going to make the second hand a little bit longer. So I'm going to only subtract half of the major tick link. So that's going to make that second hand a little bit longer than the minute hand because I'm not subtracting off as much. Now the second hand I want to make smaller in width, smaller in thickness. I want to make it smaller so it's more lighter weight than the minute hand. So instead of dividing by 25, I'm going to divide by 50. Okay, and then the offset, I've got clock T divided by 2 plus the minute hand thickness. I better raise that up a little bit. Okay, and you see the clock, the hour hand is higher up because it goes up a full clock thickness, to where the minute hand just goes up by clock thickness divided by 2. And so this one, I need to go up higher than the hour hand. So I'm going to make it clock thickness times 1.5. Okay, instead of divided by 2, I'm going to say times 1.5. And so that's going to be up higher even than the hour hand, because, right, I want them to not be, you know, violating physics and being in the same spot. So I'm trying to give them different planes that they can be up there. So, all right, so now I've created the parameters for a second hand. So now I need to create the second hand. So a couple of things I need to do. I've got the hour angle, I've got the minute angle, and then I've got the minute increment, and I've got the hour increment. Well, I need to create a what? I need to create a second angle, and that is going to be the angle of the second hand. And we'll just go ahead and set that now for np.pi divided by 2. So I'm starting all three hands straight up. But then I am also going to need a second increment. How much to increment? Well, let's think this time. There are 60, so I go all the way around in seconds, and then I want the minute to increment by 1. Okay, I want seconds to go all the way around as increment, as minute increments 1. And so what I think that is going to be is, I think that the second increment should be the minute increment times 60. Okay, the second hand should be going 60 times as fast as the minute increment. We'll try this. I missed it last time. My intuition didn't work, but I really think that the second hand should be moving 60 times as fast as the minute hand. So second increment is the minute increment times 60. All right, so now I've set up my angles. Now let's create the hand. So I create the minute hand, I create the hour hand. Let's make the second hand by taking minute hand, copy. And now I'm going to create the second hand by copying the minute hand. Okay, so I have minute hand, hour hand. Now I'm going to make this my second hand. And then that is going to start, yeah, I agree with this. It is going to start here straight up, which would be 1. Zero, 0. I don't like that for some reason. I am going to start it straight up, which would be 0, 1, 0. And I think this is not right. That should be 0, 1 as well. And the reason it looked right is you created and you moved it immediately, but let's create it in the right position. Now I need to make all these second. So instead of minute hand, this will be second. Okay, and then this will be second, and then this will be second. Okay, so you see we really thought through these things very carefully on the first hand that we made, and then we just copy it, and then the parameters tweak that first one. But we're very careful on the first one, and then these other ones we should be able to do. Let's not bring it to life yet. Let's just look and see if it looks good or if we've actually made a mistake already. That doesn't look good. Why did nothing happen? Okay. Minute hand, what is this minute hand length is not defined? Oh, it maybe should have been, okay. So it's saying that I did something terribly stupid. What did I do? Line 14. Second hand thickness, I should do that. Okay, I'm doing seconds before, right? Do you understand? I added all this code in the wrong place because these, I'm going to cut it. Those parameters depend on the parameters I already set which I haven't executed yet. So I need to move that. The seconds is the last hand I create, so I need to make it after the other ones because it depends on those other parameters. So I was referring to a parameter that I hadn't defined yet. So now let's see what happens. All right, look at that. Okay, now I kind of like that second hand, and look at that. You see that? I think all that makes sense. Now, the other ones are operating correctly. The other ones are operating correctly, but now I just got to bring that second hand to life. So let's do that. Let's bring that second hand to life by coming down here in the for loop, and we're going to have to set our axis. So let's take our command for the minute hand, and let's copy it, and then let's paste it, and then let's change it to second. So now I'm going to deal with the second hand axis. It is going to be the second hand length and the second hand angle, the second angle, and the second hand length and the second angle. Do you see how easy this is? If you just think about the first one, then you don't have to think about the other ones. Now this one I'm afraid is going to go crazy fast, but let's go ahead and just take a look at it, see if it goes crazy fast, and then we'll adjust things after this. Well, it's not going crazy fast. It's not moving at all. Why is it not moving at all? What did I do? Come to life, you aggravating thing. Come to life, you aggravating thing. Oh, maybe I didn't increment it. Okay, yeah. So I didn't increment it. And since I didn't increment it, it's not going to move. So I need to make a new line. Okay, and I need to increment that angle. So the second angle is equal to the second angle plus the second increment. All right, let's try that. This is going to go crazy fast, I think. Yep, that is crazy fast. All right, so we need to slow time down a little bit. So let's start by making the rate slower, and then after we make the rate slower, we're probably going to have to go and make that increment lower as well. So that is looking kind of interesting though. So let's come down and let's make it a rate of 1, just to kind of get in the ballpark here, see if we can at least see if the hands are coordinated right. So we're going to do a rate of 1. That is still crazy fast. Okay, so you see, even slowing it down, the increment is too great. So what I've got to do is I've got to make that increment way slower, way lower. Okay, the core increment I've got to make way lower because that second hand is dropping more than a degree. And so on the increment, I set the minute increment to 0.01. I'm going to go 0.0001, and all the rest of them will adjust to that to keep them coordinated right. And now probably what I'm going to have to do is I'm probably going to have to make the rate higher, but let's see what happens here. So I'm now moving smoother, but it might be like way too slow. Okay, well look at that. That is too slow, but it's slow by maybe a factor of 20. Well, I like the increment. I'm going to make it go faster by changing the rate. Okay, so let's change the rate at which it runs, not change the increment. So the rate, I think, needs to be like 100 maybe, like let's say 50. Let's see, 50, if this looks anything at all like an accurate clock now. That's kind of interesting. Look at that. And do you see the minute hand is moving? Okay, the minute hand is moving. Now this is going too fast, but I'm gonna time it, and then I'm gonna see how much too fast it's going. Okay, I'm gonna see how much too fast it's going. So I'm gonna see if I can call up a little bit of a stopwatch here. Okay, and I'll wait till it comes around. Okay, I'll wait till it comes around. No, I'll just do it at 45 and start and end at 45. So I start my timer, and I'm going to wait and time how long it takes to go back to 45. I like this. Okay, we are coming up on it, and stop. Look at that. So it was 21 seconds. It took 21 seconds. So let's do a little math, and let's think if it took 21 seconds to go around, okay, if it took 21 seconds to go around, that is saying that it's going 3 times too fast, about 3 times too fast. So I need to take 50 and I need to divide by 3. And so roughly 50 divided by 3 equals about 17. Okay, and so let's make this rate 17 right there. And now let's run this thing again. Five, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to time it from 15 if I can get. No, I can't get there quick enough. I will time it from 30. All right, I'm going to time it from 30, and then I will see how long it takes to go all the way around. But that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Look how that minute hand is really behaving very nicely as well. So here we go. Ready, set, start. Okay, so I started my timer, and we're going to let it go all the way around for a minute. So we will sit here and enjoy our coffee while we are calibrating our clock. But look, right as that second hand is coming up to the top, the minute hand is approaching 1 minute. Now the hour hand is moving, it's just not moving enough for us to see it yet. Okay, so we are coming up on 30 seconds there. Boom. Okay. And I forgot, you know what? I forgot where I started. Okay. I'm going to start at 15 this time. It is not going good. Okay, so I'm going to look and see. Start. All right. Somehow I got gooped up here. 8, 9, 10. This is looking pretty good. 13, 14, 15. Okay, I think I just forgot where I started. Okay, and this is coming up on 25. And I've got 30. And so it's a little bit off. It's a tiny bit off. But we can tweak it a little bit here. Okay, this is coming up to 45. I think this is probably going to be a couple of seconds off, but when it gets all the way to 15, then I'm going to stop it, and then we'll see if we can tweak that one more time to just get a little bit more accurate. And so I stop, and it looks like that it's about 2 seconds off. So 2 divided by 60. It's 2 seconds off out of 60. Okay, that is about 3%. And so I think we need to slow this down by about 3%. So let's just make it 16 and see if that helps at all. Okay, so I'll come back over here. You guys are going to get tired of watching me, and I promise this will be the last one. I promise this will be the last calibration, and then we will move on. But I do want to start this, and I'll wait for it to get to 15. I'll just start at 5. Okay, I will start at 5 so you won't have to wait. Boom. Okay, and we'll just wait a minute and 5 for it to go around and see where we are. Okay, I really like my little clock. So we're going to talk about how to make this thing more accurate in a minute. Okay, we're going to talk about how to make this thing more accurate in a minute, but I just want to get it roughly right, just playing with the rate and the increment. And so we're going to see if we can get it roughly right. We can make a stopwatch too. You know, we could put buttons on here and make a stopwatch if we wanted to. Okay. You know, I went the wrong way with that. Because now I'm 5 seconds off. I changed it the wrong way. So instead of 16, I think I should have made it 18. All right, I lied. I'm going to do it one more time just because I am obsessive compulsive. And let's see if we can do this better. I'll wait to 5 before I actually start it. 1001. Okay, boom, I start the timer. I'm sorry. This time I really promise I'm not going to fool with it anymore, because this is not really in the way we're doing it here. You know, Vpython doesn't run based on a clock, and so you're not going to get an accurate clock just using Vpython counters. But we are going to see how to get an accurate clock in a minute. Okay, I'll show you how we can play around and get an accurate clock in a minute. And this is looking, boom, I think this is going to be pretty accurate this time. And remember, we started at 5 seconds after, and so I will let it go back around to 5 seconds after. Were you guys able to do this? Let me know who was able to make this work. This one was really pretty simple given the earlier homeworks that we did. I'm really hoping that most of you should have been able to do this, okay? And then boom. Okay, that came in at 59 seconds, and so that's about as accurate as we are going to get using this method. Okay, so what if we wanted to be more accurate? All right, what if we wanted to be more accurate? I'm coming down here and I'm going to kill this. All right, I killed it. And I need to somehow view that terminal. So let me come up here and say view the terminal. All right, did you see what I did? I said view terminal. All right, so I come and say view terminal. Now you see the terminal down here and it says command. I come down here and I click enter, and now watch this. What I need you to do is to go to the Python interpreter. So down here you just click Python, and I'm going to make that a little bigger for you. Okay, you see how I am at this command prompt just going to type Python, and then it gives me the Python command prompt, which are the 3 greater than signs. And so now I can write Python code one line at a time. Well, what I want you to do is, and I'm going to teach you some stuff, and then you're going to have to go fix your clock. All right, so now I want you to import the library time. Let me see. Okay, do you see how I'm going to import the library time? Now watch this. Print. And what am I going to print? Time, open, close, and then close the print. And that gives you this gargantuan huge number, 16136787756. Well, what if I do that again? Oh my, it's a different number, and it's slightly bigger. It's bigger by about 10. Okay, so what is this? This is the number of seconds since the epoch. What's the epoch, you ask? It's like all of the world of computer science and engineering sort of set the date of creation, if you will, as January 1st, 1970. And so that is the epoch. So when I do time.time, that is telling me the number of seconds. It is telling me the number of seconds from the epoch, okay? And so it has been that many seconds since January 1st, 1970. So kind of like, all right, that's a start, because at least now we have something that is an accurate representation of what the time is. Now this only works if you have your clock set right on your computer, because this is going out and this is grabbing the system time from your computer. So if you don't have your computer clock set right, this isn't going to be right. But let's just say your computer clock is set right. That number is not very useful to me. But what if I say, let's say my time is equal to time.local, okay, of time.time, like that, where that should try to kind of turn that epoch time into more of a real world time. Oh, what is that? Did I do that right? Let's try, I think it's time.local time. So time.local time of time.time, and then make sure that you have your parentheses out here balanced right. So this parenthesis is closing this one, and then this one is closing this one. So I have my parentheses balanced. So let's see what this gives me. Okay, now let's print my time. That is kind of crazy. Yeah, okay. Forgot my parentheses. I'm back to Python 2.7 when you didn't have to put those parentheses in. Okay, look at that. Now, what is interesting? What this is saying now is, and I guess I got to get out of your way further. Okay, do you see now it is giving me, it is the year 2021. It is the month 2. It is the day 18, and so this is in fact February 18th when I'm making this. The hour is 14, which would be like 2 o'clock, okay, and the time minutes is 8. So you see, this is giving me the time, but how would I want, I need like an hour. I need an hour, right? I need an hour and a minute. Well, watch this, okay? I can say my time, and then I treat that whole my time as an array. And which one do I want? Hour, this would be the 0 position in the array. This would be the 1 position in the array. This would be the 2 position in the array. This would be the 3 position in the array. So the hour would be my time, and then it would be the 3rd position in the array, like that. And look, I got 14. And then the minute would be the next one, which would be the 5th position. So you see, my time is this great big array, and now I'm getting element number 3 is the hour, and then element number 4 should be the minute. Okay, so it is 14:08, which in the clock time would be 12:08. So that means if you really want to know what the time is, kind of like thinking on a 12-hour scale, if, you know, my time of 3 is greater than 12, if it's greater than 12, then subtract 12 from it, and then you should have a time that would effectively display. I hate it when I become a little postage stamp like that. It should then display a time that would be consistent with a 12-hour clock dial. Mr. Phillips, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to now make a clock that actually shows the correct present time. Some of you old guys will actually know what I'm talking about. Your mission, should you decide to, if you should decide. We will disavow any knowledge if you crash and burn on this one, okay? Guys, I think you should be able to do it. I think I've shown you how that you could make a clock now that would actually display the real time. Okay, that's your assignment for next week, is to take the little goodies, the little nuggets, the little Easter eggs that I just gave you and turn it into making your clock actually work now. Make your clock actually work now. Okay, guys, I hope you're having as much fun taking these lessons as I'm having making them. If you're confused by all of this code, man, it could have been at about lesson 13 or 14. You were just following along with me doing what I did and you're kind of like completely lost now. Guys, go back to about lesson 13 and do those again and do them slowly and understand what I'm doing. The whole trick here was that first hand that we did, we really thought carefully about its angle and its position and how it moves and its parameters. And then the other clock hands, we just took that one and tweaked it. But you got to go back and understand how we did that first one, okay? You got to understand how we did that first one. Next week, what we're going to do is bring this clock to life where it is really showing the real time. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, ring that bell when you do that so you'll get notifications of these future lessons. And then if you haven't already, share these videos with people on your social media because the world needs more engineers and more programmers and fewer people sitting around watching silly cat videos. This is Paul McWhorter, TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.